Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the show. And today, well, because I'm having a fantastic day on this 14 October. Last video of the day. I am so happy because I'm so tired. Tomorrow, 24 hours, the metaphor. I cannot wait. We're doing a movie review for the movie Blight. So the movie Blight is a cop movie with Will Smith where we're having orcs, we're having elves. It's funny because we just reviewed Mission Dungeon is the same thing. So, weirdly speaking, we got the elves, we got the orcs. The orcs are seen as pariah of society. They're seen like criminals. They're seen as bad people. The elves are seen as a superior race, right? However, the elves are very, very few in numbers, and it's kind of cool but sad because it's a story as old as time. Elves have always been rare. They've always been immortals, and they're always been kind of the good guy, but not really. Sorry, part two of Fright review. Don't know what happened there. Must have pressed a button. So, yeah, so like I was saying, the elves are seen as a good guy. Um, and once again, the scenario in this case is very played out, very something we saw 1,000 times. The elves are losing their power. The humans are in charge of everything. The elves want their power back. So we have a secret society of elves who trying to get the power back. My problem with this is it's a cool story, but it's a story I've seen often. Now, where the show becomes interesting, again, I do not mean to be racist. It's gonna be following the racism of the movie. The movie isn't racism, but it applied the subject of racism. So there's this cop, right, called Jacoby, and the story is about those two cops. This cop called Will Smith, and this cop called an orc. And because he's an orc, he's being seen as this nuisance. And what is kind of cool, and again, this is what the movie said, not ink. Don't come at me. The cops is the black cops, and we're treating orcs, and there's this sense of like racism where it seemed like, oh, because of your race, because of your color, you're gonna be more susceptible to commit crime. It's kind of cool that Will Smith is a black cop because again, it is possibly a critic at the social and a critic at the amount of violence towards people of color. And the fact that Will Smith is a black cop and he's seen as a good guy, and as an orc who is seen as a lesser version, kind of like a satiric, almost controlled. It's a copy of what's going on in real life, which we saw before: police brutality on people of color. And then we got a orc who is supposed to represent that, but then we have Will Smith, who is again a black cop. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's really, really cool. The movie follows racism. It's always about always an orc is not worth it. Always an orc is gonna be doing that, and they're always seen as this lesser species. So they're like, okay, well, the orcs cannot be trusted. I don't have a voice anymore. I'm sorry. And the orcs in this one, kind of cool because there's a secret, this society, and the orcs, they're not necessarily bad guys. They act like bad guys, but when they're acting as bad guys, you're like, no, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because they've been treated like shit, you know? If you're treated like shit long enough, you become a shit. The way the world works. So the story follows three races, once again: the human, the orcs, the elves. And when you think about that, it's really, really cool. The elves, you kind of understand them. They were so powerful, but then they gave up all of their rights. And some of the elves are like, no, I don't agree with that. And then the orcs, you cannot understand that they're trying to be peaceful. They're trying to prove they have their place in society because they're constantly victim of racism. And then you're like, yeah, but the orcs deserve their place too, so they're constantly trying. Then we meet a band of gangsters, and they're orcs, and you're like, okay, well, you've been treating them like shit. They have to. And in real life, okay, there's certain places that are called ghetto. There are places where it's too poor. There's no police force because it's not worth it, or they think it's not worth it. And then there's gangs that are taking care of the people. And you might say, yeah, gangs are not good, but who would take care of those people if there was not a gang? Understand? There's always going to be this system of laws. So the orc being placed in that, there's still some gang, kind of cool. The relationship between Will Smith and the orc is kind of cool because at first Will Smith doesn't like the orc, but then he realized that this is all I have. This is my partner, and they get closer. And it's not necessarily about what you are. It's about who you are. And I do like this message because once again, it's what I'm trying to say is it would be weird to make a movie where all black people are bad guys. So you put orcs. And why am I saying black people? Because it's a conscious effort on Will Smith's part. So Will Smith once again plays the cops, and he's supposed to be this hero figure, but then again he hates the orcs. So he's supposed to be this righteous guy, but he hates the orcs, and like, if you're an orcs, I don't respect you. And then he's put with the cop. And even in the beginning of the movie, you see Will Smith's character saying, I don't want to be with him. And his chief, the police station chief, is like, nobody wants to ride with you, dude. This is the only guy that wants to ride with you. And you understand that it's because he is an orc. And constantly during the movie, there's a constant team coming up, which is an orc should protect other orcs. So because he's an orc cop, he's betraying orcs. And then you realize that no, we're all the same. We're all just people trying to live together. There's this really nice scene at the very end. And the movie in itself is really cool. The story is cool. There's this movie, the scene at the end that's really cool. So the orc, they're talking about a prophecy, right? Where a blooded orc, which is an orc that proves that he was worth it, becomes a hero. Then orcs are constantly treated like shit, right? So there's this scene where, of course, they save the day. Will Smith and Jacoby save the day. That's his name, Jacoby, which is a cool name, by the way. Jacoby and Will Smith save the day, and Jacoby gets a promotion, and they made the effort to say, dude, this is the first orc to receive a medal. It's like a big historical moment. And the scene before are the orcs that are blooding the orcs, proving that they're showing their loyalty, they're showing their respect. So this one character, and the movie isn't so much about Will Smith. Will Smith is the main character, but the story is more about Jacoby. And then you got the only orcs that was giving a good role in the movie, being respected also by the human and by the orcs.